Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to part 2 of our show. This is a daily show which we feature news and commentary, and we are up and running. You know, hybrid capitalist solutions for America are like the Baseline Plus, the basic income plan, which we introduced in 2012, are now being copied by Andrew Yang and others, Elizabeth Warren, and I will honor and beat their amount. We're willing to offer $11.11 per month to every U.S. citizen who's not collecting benefits right now. That's a pretty alarming change from the $500 a month, but I would only do it if Elizabeth Warren or Andrew Yang win the Democratic nomination. And it's highly unlikely that they'll do that. Okay, we got a couple stories to get rid of pretty fast here. This one, we brought it up early in the show. This is kind of a recap moment, but I want to get to it anyway. U.S. Representative Steve King says rapes and incest help populate the world. Okay, this obvious right-wing person is insensitive to the rights of women, and this is the kind of wave Republicans are on right now, thinking they're going to get Roe v. Wade overturned because of the lame duck Democrats who can't even prosecute an impeachment of Donald Trump. So, goodbye to that link. A Republican senator tells Bill Barr to rip up non-prosecution deal that covered Jeffrey Epstein before his death. So conspirators or co-conspirators have no safe harbor. I think Republican senators are right on in doing that, and I hope that they get Bill Barr to do that, but I tend to believe that William Barr is kind of pretending to care, and he's not really doing anything, because remember, William Barr has the ability to assemble a grand jury investigation, and he hasn't done it yet. And here we are nearly 3 days after Epstein allegedly died, and I don't believe he did, because I don't think the guy they have in the morgue is him. Now, Trump is pushing this ridiculous thing. He's asked Israel to bar these 2 U.S. congresswomen from entering their country, and they obliged. They said, oh, sure, whatever Donald wants, because he's a good Zionist supporter of Israel. And, you know, I support Israel, but I'm not a Zionist. I don't believe that we need to do their bidding, and this is doing their bidding, and it's alienating people and their voice. You know how I feel about Ilhan Omar. If Donald wants to do something serious, he needs to prosecute her for marrying her brother, a homosexual man who just wanted to gain U.S. citizenship, so she married her brother. Why isn't Donald prosecuting that? Because Donald is part of the two-party New World Order system. He's not going to turn against the people that feed him or have sex tapes on him, including the Russians. We went looking for pictures of the death mask earlier in our other show. We couldn't find one. We couldn't find one under various search terms like Epstein dead or Epstein death mask. They're scrubbing them. Why? Because the death mask really is very suspicious. So suspicious, some people on the net are saying that Tony Rodham's brother may be the one in that picture, that infamous picture. Hard to say. I mean, you can take a picture like that and blow it up and spin it around and make it look weird. We do know that Hillary Rodham's brother did die recently, last June, and we don't know what he died of. So we're looking at his nose and wondering if that's the curled nose of the picture that we saw with Jeffrey Epstein and his brother, Jeffrey Epstein in state. It does seem like a kind of a curled nose, doesn't it? As opposed to the one that Jeffrey Epstein had, which is more straight like mine. All right, so that's a story I'll probably keep up and flipboard it and put that in the flipboard where I keep all my cool stories. Yeah, this is coming under the heading of strange deaths. I have a category there called strange deaths. I'm going to flip it over there. And if you want to look at our flipboard, we have a complete flipboard here available to all of you if you want to check out all our links from the past couple of years. And believe me, we've got link libraries going back 7-8 years if you really want to access them. But that's a pretty strong link library. I've got 28 different chapters or magazines in there giving you guys full access. to everything we've been looking at on our show, which is a kind of a library into an in-depth, intellectual, open forum, which is unusual on the internet. Why do these cops keep killing themselves? Well, the question is, why are they dying, like New York PD and other places? Because I believe some of these cases are not suicides. I would say that some of them are actually people that are too far in the know, behind the blue curtain, and are honest cops. An NYPD officer shoots himself in the head in Queens home, ninth suicide of the city cop this year. I heard this was the 10th, but maybe we're just, mixing numbers. But yeah, 9 suicides at NYPD cops, very suspicious. What did he know? Was he part of the investigation into Anthony Weiner's emails that seemed to have been suppressed by the NYPD? Maybe he was privy to knowledge about the recent Manhattan penitentiary situation with Jeffrey Epstein. The Metropolitan Penitentiary is obviously under review right now, but there's very suspicious behavior. It looks like they're corrupt as hell. A veteran city cop shot himself in the head Wednesday in his Queens home. Police rushed in the Laurelton home off-duty Robert Echeverria, 56, just before 6:20 after his wife called 911 to say he was a police officer, that he shot himself. The wife found him on the floor and the gun on his bed. He couldn't be saved. He had joined the NYPD 25 years ago and was a member of the elite strategic response group, which handles events like mass shootings and large protests. Wow. He had a young daughter and a teenage son. Maybe, I would think that the dialogue going on right now among a lot of people in the NYPD is, why do we have to pretend like these events are fake? Why do we have to pretend like Jeffrey Epstein died? Why do we have to pretend like the party line? They're being told by the FBI things are the way they are. They have to do things the way the FBI tells them to do. But many of these NYPD guys, maybe you're just like really honest guys and saying, why do we have to tell people what we're being told to tell? Why don't we just pursue the truth? Don't we have a higher calling to the truth than we do some scumbag above us who's telling us to shut up because Hillary Clinton's involved and some very important intelligence is involved with the Epstein case? How do we know these people aren't being manipulated? And they're just saying, no, I'm not going to do it. Screw you, buddy. I've been with the force for, 40 years, and I'm not going to do it. And they make good money, too. It's not like they'd want to kill themselves. His Daniel's salary is over $100,000. He could be retiring soon. Of course, I don't know the specifics of this case, but you never know if these guys aren't the honest ones that are, ending up getting suicided. Somebody pops them in their head, takes the glove off, puts it in the gun in their hand, walks out of there with a glove in their pocket. No fingerprints on the door. Hey, no problem. We just, that kind of thing can go on. So what the hell are we allowing this to go on? Why don't we have a grand jury investigation? Why isn't William Barr doing that? Guys? Hey, we've got some links here. Thanks for coming in. I don't know. I think Ilhan Omar is making a good point about Israel, Italy. We don't need to be doing the bidding of the Zionist forces now that we're an independent nation and they are too. What gives them the right to control our foreign policy? You Republicans don't have an answer to that. You're obsessed with flatulence. Please, keep it to yourself, including your flatulence. I'm sure Epstein's living in a cave somewhere, no doubt. He's probably hiding with, his girlfriends. Who knows? I'm not going to sit here and believe that everything's, copacetic. This whole story seems very, very twisted. I'm worried. Yeah. There are other people concerned about things that are even more worrisome, like the possibility that our phone is brainwashing us. Tonight we're going to feature a woman who I played recently. It's a technology story. I pulled it off my Flipboard. It says, you are being groomed. Smartphones are addictive dopamine, and they're part of the brain control they're using. Now, I see so many kids or people sitting there with their smartphones in stores now, just staring at their smartphones and playing games or whatever. It's like we're disconnecting as human beings. And you've got to wonder if this isn't some sort of a brainwave control thing that's happening. So she addresses this issue, and we'll be featuring her tonight as well. Yeah. Bartholomew cannot threaten you because Bartholomew is not in the room. There's nobody by the name of Bartholomew. You think Mossad killed Epstein? Okay. Because Epstein was going to reveal things about people? Okay. But you're using the M instead of the N? Okay. I would definitely mute him. All right, no, I think you're saying that because you get off on it or something. Every time I ban you, you seem to enjoy it. But no, these are issues that I think a lot of you are unaware of the dangers of the 5G networks. Now, recently I went on a trip, as you know, and I pulled up a photograph, and I'm asking anybody who has been out there if they know what these things are. And apparently these towers are everywhere in America. There is what I've been seeing in every city in America now. They're not in the Seattle center, but they're in Linwood, Everett area. But these are bells. They're like 6 bells all in a circle with a larger bell above it and a line running straight up like a transmitter. We thought they were part of the 5G network, and we're beginning to believe that there's not a single image of one of these on the internet. Yet they're in every major city. You see them when you drive by. They're along city streets like this every 300 feet in and around the most crowded areas around the freeways specifically. So I've yet to find out what these are, and I will get to the bottom of it eventually. Okay, no, they're not sky toilets. Sky toilets in flight. Afternoon delight. Paul Hardcastle. Play a little Paul Hardcastle tonight. Thanks, man. Right on. That's 50 minutes of Paul Hardcastle? No. With the same image? No. We need video. Yeah, that's not good enough for our show. Thank you anyway. It's not a tripwire. No. If it is a tripwire, you could explain yourself. That would be great. What we're looking at is a whole series of these towers that are up in the sky in every city in America. Now, I just drove through every city in America practically. And I can assure you, there's no explanation for these things anywhere. Now, they're not transponders, or if they are, they're not transmitting on our circuitry. The 5G network doesn't have any visual of these things anywhere. Well, if it's tripwire surveillance, exactly what is tripwire surveillance? And can you show me a corroborating piece of evidence to suggest that this is exactly what it is? I can't find a picture of this on the internet, Misanthropy. Thank you. Monitors for chemtrails, that's kind of stretchy. I thought they were 5G too, diarrhea, but no. Very likely these things are very suspicious in origin. They seem to be remote view. They could be like 360-degree surveillance cameras, high definition, but why would they want to look in circles around a freeway area? Because they're mostly within a 3 to 5 mile range on a freeway in every city that we've seen in America now. I went through at least 20 or 30 cities, and I saw them in every city now. And they just started popping up. You've seen them. I don't even know why I'm telling you. People see them all the time. They are atmospheric manipulators to monitor our chemtrail spreading, to make us all decide. I don't think so. Are you a docile faggot? And is it appropriate to use the F word here? I'm just reading chat, folks. I'm in no way endorsing that hate behavior. Well, if you are, you're onto something there. It could be a type of brainwave technology designed to make you docile and passive. So when you're driving through these key areas, they're systematically, hitting 60 to 80% of the population any given day. Well, it's a type of cigarette in England. That's the word they use for a cigarette in England. Yes. I believe that's a brand name, Docile Faggot. Yes, could I please have a docile faggot, please? Yes. Yeah, they're used, it's a common word. It is particularly normal in England to use that word. Really? Well, who is this Bartholomew, Captain Howdy? Yes, I mean, it's frequently, you'd hear an Englishman say, oh, just little docile fag. UHF PHF parallel program broadcast successful report Alaska expanding. Thank you, Aquamex. As you know, folks, I am the most viewed person in the world. And I'm not trying to, it's not like an ego thing with me. I have to remind people about that, though. You were paid by Mark to say they're only lights. Well, does Mark know what they are? Because clearly they aren't just lights. They're closed-circuit cameras on these poles. Very good theory. It's still the strongest theory I think we have is the closed-circuit cameras, but it could be like a microwave radiation antenna. If they are microwave potential, they could be weaponized. That would be a problem. Many of you would be fried like little tater tots in the oven when you cook them too long and they all get sizzly. You like tater tots? No, I don't love anybody so sick as that person. Why would you say such a thing? Are you attacking me now? You have been purged. It's lowering your brainwave frequencies, so every time you talk is like you're drunk. Maybe it's so. I don't know. I mean, you may be onto something there, because I feel a little lethargic. That's why I have to drink coffee just to do the show. Okay, you know, Musk is pushing for his theory that we could all put a chip in our brain and somehow meld with transhumanism and the artificial world. Elon Musk is a self-admitted crackhead who likes to do whatever the elitists tell him to do because he's handling $19 billion in debt. That's Elon Musk. He owes $19 billion, so whatever they tell him to do, he does. Okay, we got a really good link from one of our iBlog users. Thank you. Guest 338, appreciate it. We're going to be playing you a show called Putting a Chip in Your Brain tonight. Yeah, it looks good. I, of course, am against the transhumanist concept of adding a chip to your brain or using it for verification of vaccinations or herd inoculations. I will not be deploying that as president. I promise you that. People here in Yao watching a show, a live screen and small screen. Hey, Ochinaya. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much. Very cool. Thanks for watching, Ochinaya. You people are really amazing to have been able to survive Fukushima and still be such a strong country in Japan. I believe that's in Japan, right, Yao? Things to do in Yao. Oh, Kyoji Green Space. Quiet spot. Whoa, cool. Talk about amazing things to do at the Kyoji Green Space. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. Googling it right now. Anyway, we'll play Putting a Chip in Your Brain Will Not Make You a Superhero or a God tonight in our lineup. Appreciate it, man. Cool. This is a time when I go through my links and just kind of piece them all together and make things happen. Okay. Intelligent video surveillance leader GPU for highways. Camera coming to East Bay freeways after 100+ shootings. Okay.
But first, plans are underway to tackle a growing and disturbing problem. Shootings on Bay Area freeways. There have been more than 100 shootings in the past 2 years. It is Tuesday, December 19th. I'm Kenny Choi.
And I'm Michelle Griego. KPIX5's Ann Makovic joins us live from Pittsburgh to explain what's being done. Ann? Yeah, and 8 people have died in these East Bay freeway shootings over the past 2 years. So it has been a problem that has been concerning a lot of drivers around here.
Could you talk a little bit slower and maybe we could just stretch the same story out another 5 or 6 hours? You know, I'm going to close down on that story and bring it into the show tonight. I'm sorry that they're doing that. Yes, sometimes you have to use some surveillance cameras. It's true. And now this story, a Massachusetts man infected with EEE, now in a coma. He got it from a mosquito, folks. This has been one of the worst years for insects ever in the history of America. I can attest to that. Sarah and I had to leave the East Coast because she was getting eaten by mosquitoes. Seriously. I've got that surveillance video. Thank you, Misanthropy. But check this out. An error. Okay, I can't see it, or maybe I can. Here we go.
Rochester is one of 9 communities considered at critical risk levels for Triple E. And now we are learning that that first human case is from this town. Communities in Plymouth and Bristol counties are on high alert for the mosquito-borne illness Triple E after a human case was confirmed over the weekend, the first since 2013 for the state. Health officials in towns like Rochester and Marion are spreading a message to keep people safe.
The message that public health needs to get out is even though there's been ground spraying and aerial spraying, people need to take personal precautions to prevent insect bites.
A Rochester resident posted to Facebook that her father is in a coma due to Triple E. She also says it's unclear where or when the mosquito bite took place. Though alarming, health officials urge everyone to avoid peak times from dusk to dawn when mosquitoes are most prevalent and to protect yourself.
I'm sorry, but you can't even begin to know how many mosquitoes we encountered this past year. I mean, this past month, a month and a half ago, Sarah and I were in the middle of Midwest and East Coast mosquito lands, and I gotta tell you, man, it's bad. This is the worst year ever that I've ever seen. That's why I'm convinced we have climate change due to chemtrails. Yeah. Chemtrails are causing these mosquitoes. It's a human band-aid from insects to grow and proliferate on the earth. It's an insect world, arthropods taking over, creating biomass to cover the toxicity that's currently happening with the chemtrails being dumped on us. It's a natural response the planet is having. It's not good, though, to get mosquito bites and to get these diseases now so easily. Unbelievable. No, we can't watch that stuff about that. No. Okay, watch the surveillance that's going on, the level of surveillance that's happening in the world today. This is the kind of technology that we're dealing with. Intelligent Video Surveillance Leader GPU for highways. Look at this. They're tracking everybody. Every single car is looked at, intelligently calculated. Your license plate is added to a register. That's what's going on. In the world we live in, everybody's being checked and watched. And this is what the UK. This example shows how our system recognizes and tracks vehicles in a video stream. The system is based on advanced deep learning algorithms. It allows receiving data on the amount and type of monitor objects from the video stream and also track vehicles in multi-dimensions. In multi-camera setups. They're trying to see if who people are. This database is completely a part of a tracking system which is highly integrated and part of the national defense system of whatever country you're looking at. Cap Natty, you are absolutely going to get banned. That's it. I've never been in a bathhouse with anybody. You're a sick puppy there, buddy. You're out of here. God, can you believe that? Making false accusations like that. That's very, very weird, I must say. And having everybody tracked by intelligent video surveillance leading, yeah, I'm shocked. I'm in disbelief, and I pretty much figured this was happening, though. I'm going to put it in cool tech as well. It's Mayberry RFID. Well, hey there. There's Barney Fife. How are you? Well, finding criminals is a good thing, but... Well, I had a lot of bad people in the room, Chuckles. I could watch a mechanical micro A-frame blend with Montana Wilderness as part of my Technology Thursday show. Thank you. Up, up, and away. From a double-decker RV, we'll add that one to our thing. 20 steps tonight. I don't mind having a few cool things in our show. Absolutely. We got a double-decker RV coming up and a $700 mechanical micro A-frame blends with Montana Wilderness. Let's take a look.
Love her.
Cool. Man, I dig the micro A-frame with the solar panels and this passive lighting. This is cool, man. I got to check this out tonight. Or a little bit right now. A little flip deck. I love that paneling. That's really easy to work with, that waffle board plastic. It's super cheap too. I've got a piece on my property, a little bit like that, just because it's so cheap and it lets the light in. And it protects the what's inside like a greenhouse. Great. I can't wait to check that out. Thank you. Well, you know, we don't have to go in any one direction on Technology Thursday, but it is technology to look at tiny houses, I must say. Let's not forget that. Yeah, I know, Dave. Amazon's face recognition tech once again pegs politicians as criminals. Wow. Interesting. Facial recognition systems are still far from accurate, and yet government agencies continue to push for its development. To illustrate the existing flaws of the tech, the ACLU conducted another test of Amazon's recognition software, which inaccurately identified 1 in 5 California lawmakers as matches to a mugshot database. Wow. We want to be the demonstration about how the software absolutely is not ready for prime time, and that's exactly what they did. Wow. So they actually showed people in the database that were actually, not accurately depicted and therefore matched criminals in the database. That's amazing. Yeah, and one point they made is police body cameras are in communities where police are. Those are primarily communities of color communities where immigrants live. And so even if these algorithms were perfectly accurate, these communities would be the ones that would be disproportionately harmed by surveillance practices that led to, mugshots. So if you're in a community of minorities, you're more likely to be pulled over because they think that you're some sort of a criminal because you match somebody in their database. That sucks. It's no bueno. It's no good, man. I don't know how to be not so like who I am, man. I wish people were like Americans and just treated like Americans instead of treated like minorities and immigrants and all these things. I met a Navajo woman out there in Phoenix, Arizona one time. And I said, are you worried about this thing Trump talking about? Getting rid of all illegal aliens here in Arizona? And she said that frequently she's a Navajo Indian and she's asked to see her identification because they think she's an illegal alien. And she has to pull out her driver's license all the time for cops. And she's a Navajo Indian. I mean, come on. I want to see a papers now. Just like Nazi Germany.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
I detect bullcrap. Speaking of technologies that have pretty much gone to the wayside, we're still waiting on the gunnery software to be updated on our newest top aircraft. So it's like, hello. The U.S. government is a little late in almost every little thing that they're doing, and it's pretty obvious that they're employing people from the 1980s to do their coding. Yeah, remember that Nazi expression, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. I want to thank Donald Trump for actually having a relationship with Saudi Arabia that has led to fairly low gas prices. I actually think that's a pretty good thing. And I normally don't say nice things about Donald Trump. But when I found out he had to make a deal with Vladimir Putin to make that happen, I got a little bit weary, because Vladimir Putin ultimately wants the price of gas to go up. So it's almost like we're in a time with the gas prices the way they are. It's like almost too good to be true, don't you think? I believe Argentina's economy has crashed many times. It wouldn't surprise me it's happening again. Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, all those South American countries have too many population growth problems. That's why we're having to build a fence along the border with Mexico. Of course, it's my idea, but we have yet to see it built. The 1,000-mile container fence, which will cost only $1 billion, could easily be built. But Trump hasn't done diddly squat. Yeah, Jim, I mean, I paid as low as $2.35 a gallon in Charlottesville, Virginia. $2.35 at a Costco just about 3 weeks ago. You paying $3 a gallon? Well, that's exactly what everyone else is paying there. Hellnap. Yeah, I think we're all paying about the same, unless you're in New Jersey in some weird place for $4.50 a gallon. Or in DC, downtown DC, I paid $4.60 a gallon, 2-3 weeks ago. I was in downtown DC buying gas. $4.60 a gallon. It's the only gas station near the Capitol building. Pretty, I'm glad I found it, actually. I said, I don't care how much money I got to spend to sit in traffic here. I'll pay whatever I have to sit here and idle with all these other big vehicles. Man, you couldn't believe all the SUVs and Suburbans and Escalades out there in DC. It's like every other car is like a Secret Service car with tinted windows. It's freaky. Everywhere you go, they're everywhere. I only buy a regular cheap gas because I only drive top-notch vehicles that have filters on them that could clean that gas and make it pure. I don't ever park an RV. Yeah. I keep it moving at all times. I have a roving center wherever I travel. It's the mobile travel center. It's completely unmarked and roving wherever I go. And I'm thinking of ordering another one so we can have 2 driving around in circles wherever I go. Yeah, maybe even 3. So we really don't know which one I'm in. Yeah, hiring drivers is so costly. That's why I really need, the money to actually do that. But no, schlucking around in an RV is not my style, man. I stayed in nothing but the finest motels money can't buy. Can't buy me love. Well, Ronald Reagan had a personality. Jimmy Carter did not. Ronald Reagan had the whole experience of being a great actor, whereas Jimmy Carter was a smiling idiot.
I definitely think that you have a good point, Ronald. I didn't really have a personality, and I still don't.
Well, if Ronald Reagan was around today, he would be looking at Donald Trump as a complete and utter Russian collaborator. Now, Ronald Reagan met with Gorbachev and never took notes. But he was never under investigation for Russian involvement, whereas Donald Trump was. Oh, I'll gladly turn over my tax returns, no problem. And he seized all the notes from his first meeting with Vladimir Putin. How can you people honestly sit there and knowing full well the Russia's in control of your president and go, oh, I'm okay with that? How can you do that? I've never seen such sublime idiocy in my life. What's wrong with America? Well, that's the question we're going to have to answer tomorrow night. So I'm going to end my full-on one-on-one communication right now and drift away and go into the video land with you, and we watch videos together well into the evening. So if you have enjoyed this shortened segment of our show, thank you for coming in. It does seem like we're all hypnotized. Thank you, Hella Nap. Yeah, I appreciate that.
because it does seem like those bells that they're running in the background of where our cars are when we're driving through these areas have some sort of a transmission going on and is putting us in a fugue state. Well, we'll find out that tonight in our show, which will feature, like I said, a woman who has been truly of the belief that the 5G network and these smartphones are affecting us. Yeah, we're not sure what's going on with that, but it's enough to make you think, what's going on with that? I know. So we're going to try to stay abreast of what politics we have in front of us and keep a new dimensional look at what's happening right now, because invariably, if these people are as stupid as I think they are, the ones running our country, they really don't know how to fix it. And they're kind of winging it right now, and they're really not sure how the big plan's going to evolve. And that's where I come in, because I can provide solutions to this country in a definite recessed economy. And as we entered the recession with the 800-point drop in the stock market this past week, we're going to be looking at ways in which we're going to develop new ideas for growth in that time period. Now, we talked a lot about all these things in our show. I've had many different ideas. Most of all, we've come up with a job plan that we talk about. The solar rooftop revolution, basically leasing rooftops across the country, to putting solar rooftops up for free and making the money long term on the energy we save, and you'll make money on your rooftop. And the Homestead Renewal Plan, which will provide hundreds of thousands of jobs in America to start using existing capital that's currently in our Housing and Urban Development Fund. And we can start flipping houses and get the country back to home ownership. So these are ideas the Democrats don't have, which makes me a lot better of a candidate for 2020 than they are. And the Republicans are definitely really off base, because they're bankrupting the country with tax breaks for the rich, which is costing our nation $5.5 trillion over 10 years, which is not something we're going to be able to deal with. But it will be recessionary times coming up. I think we all know that. All right. Thank you for coming in, everyone. I'm not like Donald Trump. I'm not going to flip-flop on your gun rights. What he's doing right now with the red flag laws, very, very suspicious. I don't trust this guy, not for a second. Not the way he's flipping on every single gun right he ever talked about. Very weird. So we'll sign off and see you guys next time. I'll be in till 1 o'clock in the morning with videos and things that we will continually show. And again, it is a tribute night to the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. Gotta love that. All right, take care. Good night, everyone.
America is ready for a change. A third party is the change we need. Accountability in government, term limits for Congress, media verification, and a fresh approach to fixing our environment. We need a new direction for our nation. Join us in the middle of the political spectrum for our nightly commentary and discussion at America's Third Party.